Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. What is LIMS and understanding LIMS modules and functions? So warm welcome from my side. My name is Philipp Osterwalder. I'm the CEO and co-founder of LIMS, and I'm very excited to walk through how a laboratory information management system can transform your lab operations. Labs today deal with more complexity than ever before. So more samples, more regulations, and also more data. Yet many still rely till today on spreadsheets, paper-based processes, or even disconnected systems that slow everything down. That's also some reasons why today's session is all about showing you how a LIMS works and what its key functions and why it can be a game changer for you daily operations in lab related to efficiency, compliance, and also automation. Before we dive into the webinar, some general informations and housekeeping notes. So the webinar is recorded. We will also provide the link through our YouTube channel at LIMS. If you have any kind of questions, just type it in the chat sections or ask it directly. Unmute yourself and directly ask at the Q&A session at the end of today's webinar. Any kind of requests related to the slides, just send us a request on hello@onelims.com, and we'll be happy to provide the slides from today's webinar to you. Also, very short introduction from myself. As already mentioned, CEO and co-founder of LIMS. We are a Swiss-based lab digitalization company. We provide our LIMS platform and also lab digitalization and automation consulting service. What's the goals for today's webinar? So by the end of this session is the goal to clearly understand how a LIMS works and why it is essential for modern laboratories in quality control and quality assurance. Also is the goal to get informed decision why and what to selecting and how to select the right LIMS solution. What also includes in the session today is understanding what is LIMS and why it matters, explore the key LIMS modules and their key functions, see how, based on case studies, a LIMS can transform, or even overall lab digitalization can transform lab efficiency and compliance, and also discover how to select and implement the right LIMS for your purpose and requirements. Let's start with a very short introduction as the second part of our last webinar of the LIMS basics. So what is a LIMS related to the introduction? First of all, start with the basics. So every lab deals with samples and how to track those samples in a centralized way. This can be done through a laboratory information and management system. This is a piece of software that helps labs manage samples, track centralized the quality laboratory and production and product data, and can automate routine and value-adding workflows. By all of that is also the basic function to ensure compliance, like an audit trail. It replaces For instance, paper-based processes or scattered spreadsheets, bringing everything into one centralized digital system. Think of a LIMS as an operating system, as an ERP, or even some kind of Microsoft Central for your laboratory. Keep every sample, result, and process in sync while eliminating inefficiencies and errors. The key components here are sample tracking, data management, and also reporting. The historical context, just as a comment, is the evolution from the manual logs to a sophisticated digital platform. Addressing lab challenges without a LIMS. So here, every lab deals with samples, but keeping track of them manually can be a nightmare. Missing samples, incorrect labeling, or even misplaced data can lead to costly errors and time-consuming compliance risks. How can a LIMS help here? This is a good question because it leads and helps and supports lab technicians and scientists on a daily basis. In the first place, on automatically assign unique samples IDs, for instance, and for example, for a full traceability, can use QR codes or barcodes, scanning to prevent mislabeling and data loss, or even tracks each sample's journey from registration to reporting. That means that labels that implement samples tracking through labs that using sample tracking through LIMS sees a 90% reduction in lost samples. That's based on our case studies and also surveys that we held through RUOP with the lab managers and quality control managers, because they are streamlined workflows that eliminates unnecessary delays. This is one big topic and one big point. Also, another point is a standard situation in the lab related to a heterogeneous zoo on different devices. This can also lead to scattered and siloed data because all of these devices produce a big amount of data on a daily basis. And this data can also be used to take faster and better decisions. But most of the quality control, quality assurance labs didn't know it or didn't use it in a certain way for data analytics. So why digitalization in labs is essential? Think about how much time is wasted on repetitive manual tasks, like logging samples, assigning tests, copy and pasting results, double-checking calculations, 4I principles, manual steps, all of that, without any kind of automated, standardized workflows. So a LIMS can remove those bottlenecks by automating exactly those workflows. Automatically routines samples to the right instruments, for instance, or eliminates manual approvals by creating automated approval workflows to send a notification as soon as a result is ready for validation. Or even a third point is sending the real-time alerts when results are ready or when they are not conform. There is any kind of detection for out of spec. So for high volume labs, workflow automation reduces turnaround time by roughly 30 to 50%, meaning faster results and also higher sample throughput by the same amount of time and the same amount of employees. A point here is also that increasing sample volumes and regulatory requirements demands better data management in the future. Another point is that the manual workflows leads to inefficiencies. Some of you know that already or face it on daily basis. Leads to higher error prompts and error sources, and also some compliance risks. And the LIMS provide a structured, automated approach to the lab data management. Let's start with the sample management itself. So this is kind of a crucial core module of very sophisticated LIMS. If you ever had to dig through old records, manual created reports on compliance data, you know very good how frustrating it can be. A LIMS solves those by automating result management and reporting. So that means instantly generating certificates of analysis or test reports based on your corporate identity and corporate design or your preferred template or layout, or allows to real-time review and approval of lab results. This also leads to ensuring regulatory ready documentation at a click of a button within seconds. So once a lab reduces their reporting time by 70% after switching to LIMS, simple by automating documentation, by sending them automatically and generating them automatically based on their templates. Another point is compliance is for today and for quality control and quality assurance laboratories and non-negotiable for any kind of lab technician or lab manager, quality control manager. Whether you are dealing with ISO, FDA, HACCP, or other industry standards, maintaining proper documentation is essential. But for many labs, still today, audit preparation is time-consuming and also stressful. A LIMS can support for a compliance and audit readiness by automatically logs every action in a digital audit trail. Can version control prevent unauthorized change to data? And instant generation compliance reports to meet the regulatory requirements. For one of our food manufacturing client, the LIMS cut audit preparation time from 2 weeks before a big audit to just a couple of hours, just by centralizing and automating documentation. Another point is the result management and reporting. I already mentioned some automated generation of the COA, also the direct data validation and approval for some workflows, 4I principles, for instance, for also regulatory laboratories, and a seamless integration, which allows an end-to-end automation. With seamless integration, that could be, for instance, an integration into the ERP system like SAP for quality control order creation based on the daily production with the specific amount of samples, or also an integration into, for instance, a lab device system, or also what we provide from OneLIMS into a service laboratory, which you are sending your microbiology samples or some other analytics. Good. What's the impact of digitalization? What we face based on our survey and also our case studies from food and material science, and material testing, quality control laboratories, that labs can reduce errors up to 60% just through end-to-end automation of workflows. This can not only be pursued by an integration to an ERP system or even to a device system integration. This also can achieved by just routine work, as mentioned before, by reducing the manual data handling, by creating and generating reports automatically, and also for different kind of data analytics of the analysis lab and quality data. A second point is the compliance reporting time cut in half with automated documentation, as have automation for quality for the change control and versioning. And the third point is an improvement for sample tracking by reducing lost or misplaced samples by 90%. This can also be done. I showed before this real-life example of a handwritten label, which maybe can't get a read anymore, or gets wrong placed and somewhere in the lab. And these are crucial for daily operations in every quality control, quality assurance laboratory. Let's start with the case study of the company Polygal. It's a food and also pharma manufacturing quality control lab. They started with slow workflows, scattered data across 46 different Excel spreadsheets, and had a lot or time-consuming audit preparation. After the digitalization, they centralized all of their quality, production, and product data in one place. That leads to faster turnaround time of the sample and audit readiness at any specific time. So before, they had scattered data and they had frequent errors because of the manual data handling. After the LIMS implementation, they had everything centralized, everything reached through the SaaS LIMS, and it was faster processing of data and also predictive quality control based on their dashboard, which they used for trend analysis. This leads to a very fast reporting time. This was reduced by 50%, and also compliance confidence from overall team, which boost the team performance overall. Another example from a paper and cardboard manufacturing quality control lab. They had before slow sample testing. They needed weeks for some specific tests because they pooled it and had a long preparation time for the sample. They also had reporting delays based on a lot of effort for copy and pasting and generating their test reports, and because of their different sources of their testing and quality control results, had inconsistent records, which leads to a lot of errors. After the implementation, digitalization, they had a seamless compliance, audit readiness at any time. So a traceability of any result and any operation and process. Another big point was the automated workflows for the sample management by order creation of the quality control from the batch control, sample adding with predefined QR code labels, the label management, and also then the conduction of the analytical results, validation, and report generation. All of that steps in between were automated, and that leads to faster and better decision within the quality control and quality management. The benefits out of that was a 30% faster sample testing and reporting time. So they could upscaling their samples by a third with the same amount of time and employees. And another big point and benefit was reducing the audit preparation time from roughly 2 weeks into a couple of hours. What was a huge benefit for them to save also some 100,000 Swiss francs within a year. Also, some other key facts about digitalization, automation, and introducing a LIMS into your quality control, quality assurance laboratory. What we gained based on our interviews, surveys, and also case studies from our clients, that they lead to a 78% error minimization. A third, what we heard before in the last case study, higher sample throughput with the same amount of time and employee. And at the end, and over a period of time, exactly 3 months, they saved nearly 50% of their analysis costs related to risk-based analysis and a better tracking of their test plans, and also trend analysis of their results related to batch control. Another goal, and also a vision which we push and work on together with our clients, is a holistic quality control ecosystem. What that means is integrating a LIMS into your IT landscape. Because even from a high level perspective, within a company, there are a lot of data sources related to product data in an ERP, for instance, production data within an MES and the sensor data, quality data and lab data within a LIMS, and maybe some logistics data related to the product in the logistics system. And all of this data can be used to get better and also faster decisions and use it for advanced analytics, or have, for instance, a better traceability over the product itself during the production, have a batch record end to end, and also have a track over the quality of raw materials, the effect of the recipe during the production, and the predictive and quality control of the end product. And this overall can give deep insights of the overall production and product quality. What is also possible to then integrate external parties like service laboratories, or maybe also some other systems. How to choose the right LIMS that fits your needs and your requirements. What to look for in a laboratory information and management systems. One point is customization. Can the LIMS be adapted to your unique workflows, operations, and the requirements in your quality control laboratory? The second point is the scalability. Can it be enhanced? Can it be adapted, or can it grow with your lab needs? So the market, customer, and also the business can change very rapidly today's. There's also a big point that the application can be scalable, maybe to roll out to another location, or even gets new functions and new modules. A third point is then integration. Can it be connected with existing lab instruments and their systems to ERP systems, which are important for the end-to-end workflow, and to regulatory databases or to external service laboratories? And the fourth point is also for me, one of the important one is the user friendliness. What's the overall user experience related to the user interface? That leads or is important for instance, the onboarding time and also for the training. So is it intuitive and easy to use for the lab staff? A LIMS solution. So not all LIMS are created equal. The key is to find the one that works for your specific industry and for your workflows. Common challenges by choosing and implementing a LIMS can be, for instance, the incomplete user adaptation. The solution can be that the comprehensive training of the users, power user, and also best practices for the lab staff. The data migration issue, that you start with a blank system. So the solution there is to work with the experienced implementation partners. And the third point is a poor vendor support. Then after the implementation, you never heard anything from them again. And the solution is to choose a provider which provides overall custom success and also support and care after the implementation and go live. One LIMS versus other LIMS providers, they have what we do different than other LIMS. So one point is the fully operational in 30 days. This is related to our custom and tailored onboarding process. This is personalized based on our lab check method, which is using within Lean Six Sigma tools to analyze your current state with the process map and quantify all of these related KPIs on the quality control lab. We provide also a seamless automation. That means integrating effortless lab devices, ERP systems, and also external service laboratories. We promise a sustainable growth because our SaaS LIMS continues evolves with every release every 2 or 3 months. And also what we have is continuous updates and expert guidance to scale your requirements and needs at any level in your laboratory. Another point is maximizing the return of investment by starting seeing efficiency gains from day one. So overall set some key takeaways and also closing remarks related to that, so that the LIMS is a centralized and automated lab operation platform. Within a sophisticated LIMS, there should be sample tracking and workflow automation, and compliance reduce errors and should save time at the end. Labs using LIMS to see 30 to 50% faster sample processing and up to 95% fewer errors. If you're ready to transform your lab, then I would be happy to connect and also to reach out at hello@onelims.com for any kind of question, requests, or consultation. Another point is for any kind of industries, some specific solutions, for example, for food and beverage manufacturing companies, material testing or material science companies, or even environmental laboratories. Any kind of solution and also case studies you will find on our website. If you want to get to know where you are right now in your digital LIMS journey or lab transformation journey, just try our quality control digital benchmark. Takes roughly 5 to 10 minutes and ask or answer 20 questions to get a current state, a quick current state analysis and an action plan with tailored steps for your digitalization journey. And if you already know that you will need somehow a LIMS, then the LIMS Buyer's Guide can be a good option to find more information and modules and architecture and also features about LIMS in this Buyer's Guide and how to choose the right LIMS for you, your requirements and needs. Just scan the QR code to get the direct download link. Now also we have some couple of minutes left to answer some questions. If you want to ask them directly in the webinar, I'm happy to answer them. Just unmute or just type in your question in the comments. Otherwise, I want to thank you for you all joining us today. It's been a pleasure sharing some insights, strategies to help you and your lab team navigating through lab digitalization and automation challenges, and also to help with digital transformations. Let's stay connected, whether it's a follow-up conversation, a demo, or simply just exchange ideas based related to these topics. And I want to thank you again for your time and also engagement. And I'm pretty looking forward to see you at one of our next events again, and wish you a great day. Take care and bye-bye.